Welcome back to the Top Cattle Sales Podcast, topcattlesales.com. I'm your host, Kyle Dykes, and today I've got another neat, kind of shorter type market report-esque video, if you will, but I really enjoyed putting these out there. Super excited about this particular episode because I've actually got Kevin Doonan Cattle Company on today. But first, I want to do a quick run-through on the Top Cattle Sales website. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to the podcast. This has been a fun project in the making. I also want to thank our business advertisers on the page as well, starting with Shelby Trailer Sales, Shelby Trailer Flooring. If you haven't used that product, it's a super high quality product for your chutes and trailers and workspaces across the ranch. So check them out. You've got Tartar Farm and Ranch. We appreciate them running ads with us. Lands and Dwellings. That's Alan Crumley at Williams True Real Estate in Fort Worth, as well as Molly Manufacturing, Silencer Hydraulic Squeeze Chutes, the industry standard in livestock handling equipment. Appreciate them running. And then additionally, want to mention one of the reasons that we're doing this particular episode is some sale preview opportunity. So if you've got an upcoming sale, spring, fall, special female, bull sale, commercial sale, anything of that nature, we've got that ad space on the website. So I want to mention the Club 1835 Elite Show Heifer Sale. That's Joseph Blount involved in that. They're offering some Angus, Simmental, and Cimbral cattle. That's going to be Saturday, October 5th, Hamilton, Texas. But those cattle are located in Hamilton, Texas, and you can access that sale through SC Online Sales as well. Click the ad link on the site. It'll take you straight to it. Check them out. Joseph Blount, also veterinarian. Joseph Blount Veterinary Services. They're doing things by the book there. So, and then additionally, today I want to talk about the Doonan Cattle Company sale coming up on October 8th. And that's why I've got our guest today, Kevin Doonan, on. Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm good, Kyle. Thanks for having us on.
I am extremely excited to get to talk about your upcoming sale, October 8th. I know it's rapidly approaching, and you can, for the listeners out there, you can also access Kevin's sale, Doonan Cattle Company. I believe y'all are calling it the Decade of Dedication sale. I don't know if that's actually on the site or not, but either way, you'll find it right there under the October 8th dates, and it's up and live, and the cattle are ready for viewing. So we've got those pulled up, and I'm excited to walk through the cattle and the catalog with Kevin today. Kevin, tell us a little bit about your, kind of your backstory, quick, elevator speech in terms of Doonan Cattle Company and how that all came about. And then I'm excited to jump into this awesome set of cattle that you got listed here.
Well, Kyle, I really appreciate you guys letting us come on. It's kind of been an honor to see you grow Top Cattle Sales and your auctioneer stuff. And, we go way back to A&M days and, an elevator speech for Doonan Cattle Company. To summarize it, I'd tell you it's a kind of overgrown 4-H project. Showed steers growing up. We were very fortunate, had a lot of success across the state at the majors, jackpot shows, and county level. And spent a couple years raising club calves, had a good Charolais cow, probably wasted the first couple of years of her life crossbreeding her. Tried getting a purebred out of her, and you'll see at the very bottom of this sale, the very first purebred out of that Smart Chick cow is actually that Aphrodite donor. And so elevator speech, 4-H kid, grew up doing everything under the sun, showed cattle, wanted to keep playing with the cattle, and been doing this now a solid decade as far as having online sales and selling to the public and providing services. Angie and I got married in 2017 and been very highly focused on the purebred side of things since about that time.
Yeah. The Decade of Dedication. That's where that comes from,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. It's been cool. I mean, we've had a lot of success countrywide, and it's really neat, 15 years later after doing this, that the impact those cows have made for our customers and their programs is it's so humbling. I mean, the whole joke, a decade of dedication, the first day we started breaking and tying these things, texted Angie and was like, well, here's the day one of a decade. And it kind of hit me pretty hard that, you know, we're pretty deep and committed into this. And now here we are, we got a sale, 10 years of doing online sales, and we're offering, there's actually a heifer in this sale that goes back 5 generations into our program. Got really lucky with a good set of foundation cows and, literally started from the ground up. I mean, that from a physical stance and a cattle stance,
And you started there in Caldwell, Texas, just a crow's fly from A&M, which is where you and I got to the privilege of
Yep.
running together. And like you said earlier on in another conversation, we had as much fun as anybody should be allowed to have at A&M. So, and you were on the meats team, so give some background there. We were animal science.
So I was animal science production option. I knew I did not want to go long enough or go through enough school to be a vet. Kind of wish I would have been now, just because it would have opened a lot of doors for us. But my time in the meats lab and on the meats team, I was an All-American in 2012 there at A&M. It really opened my eyes because I didn't have any background or knowledge into that, but it allowed me to keep a real world grasp of what we're doing, both in the show ring and in the pasture.
Sure.
Something I don't really talk about enough because we don't really have enough volume to service the amount of customers we have now on that side. But we sell a lot of commercial herd bulls, and those are the contemporaries to these show heifers. We don't push, big EPD numbers. We don't have the biggest yearling weights, but what we got is we got cattle that work, cattle that feed, cattle that fit in the box. I tell people an average Charolais bull will beat a good black bull every day on a set of crossbred cows. And I truly believe that my upbringing from a business scenario, my dad owned a Chevrolet dealership and a clothing store. My grandpa built service stations and lube centers and car washes and dry cleaners. And maybe growing up in a facet of industry that wasn't cattle based, it's allowed me to stay very grounded, stay very realistic of what these cattle are, what they need to be. You see these sales where stuff is bringing 30, 40, 50,000, their top 1% of their breed and all that. Well, there's not a lot of sustainability in that because it changes every day. Where right. What's kept us in the business is realistic cattle. I want those people to be proud of what they have. I want them to be happy with what they purchase. I want those cattle to work. You'll see a lot of cattle in this sale that are out of past show heifer purchases, are out of past cows we raised. We take consignments from customers. The coolest part of this sale, for the first time in my career, we have a sale that 100% is inclusive to DCC genetics, and not saying I won't take outside consignments, but they got to be really, really, really good for me to just like blanket consign it anymore, because, the coolest part of what I do, and I tell customers, absolutely, I can stand behind one I know something about.
Right.
And I can't speak on behalf of something I've never utilized before.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably wrong to say, but I can probably take an average one we raised and I can consult you to find success. I may take the best one that one of the top end country programs raises that I know nothing about, and I may screw her up because I have no clue. And there's a lot to be said there as far as like the knowledge of knowing what we can do through genetics and feeding with these cattle.
Yeah, for sure.
And we do take some consignments from past customers, but this sale, every single lot in this sale touches us directly. Either we owned or raised every sire or dam of every calf in this sale.
That's awesome.
And honestly, including the genetic lots, there's 7 genetic lots, being 3 bulls with 2 semen packages on each bull, and that donor we're offering a flush in. We raise the donor, we raise the dams to 2 of those bulls, and then we own that foreigner bull, and that's our senior herd sire that we have now. So I think that's really cool that's where we're at in our program.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you built a lot of this. So I know after NM, you graduated and had the opportunity to go up to Midlothian, the ranch up there, and kind of develop yourself from a producer standpoint and really elaborate on the purebred side of things. How much of these genetics kind of started there and have transferred over, going back to, I don't know how many people know that you went there and then now you're back in Caldwell, kind of back
Yep.
to where the roots are. Give a little bit of
Yep.
insight on that.
So graduated A&M in 14, moved up to Dallas, actually worked public relations, kind of HR and sales for my granddad's company, and I managed our North Ranch up there. So I went from having to split resources with Dad to having an entire ranch and the freedom to do whatever I wanted. And I kind of collected some more cows when I was up there. We started traveling north and buying some cows out in Nebraska and South Dakota from like Jamie Fred and the Auden Ranch up there in South Dakota. And it's wild, and I mean this humbly, but like, we've gone through a lot of droughts in Texas. We've gone through high markets, we've gone through low markets. Over the past decade, we could probably write a book about riding the highs and surviving the lows. And as crazy as it is, the basis of our herd goes back to that smart chick cow that she was raised in Kansas by a club calf guy. He had one Charolais cow, one Charolais bull. She didn't stick AI to a club calf bull that year, and that wound up making smart chick.
Wow.
And so I lucked into the Charolais deal, and the best cow I may ever own was the first cow I ever bought. But our entire cow herd goes back to those initial cows that started in Caldwell. We moved up to Midlothian. That was kind of the tail end of our club calf run and the start of our, purebred endeavors as a whole up there, because I was getting to make the freedom. I built a recip cow herd, started doing more embryo transfer, because as much as I tried and as much money as I spent, I struggled, and I still do. I still struggle to find cows from an outside perspective that are as consistent as I want them to be. And I don't mean that as in my cows are the best. What I mean is it's hard to either A, afford, or B, find a diamond in the rough, because you're not going to go to just a production cow sale and buy their best cows.
Right.
My best cows I either bought as wean calves, like the show heifer purchases, and I do believe in that. I believe in buying young cattle and raising them in your system and putting them into your production system without any knowledge or any influence. Or, like I did with the Bailey cow, I bought her as an open 10-year-old cow. She was in a club calf herd in Mississippi. I wanted to buy that cow out of Denver in college. I had zero money to buy that cow out of Denver in college. She won her division at Denver at the national show that year, and she was high selling live lot in Denver that year. Found her years later in Mississippi, and I bought her as a 10-year-old cow. She is the highest dollar cow I personally have ever wrote a check for. My father was very disappointed. I paid five figures for a 10-year-old open cow. And, but I bought her. I flushed her 4, 5, 6 different ways. She had a couple of natural calves, and then we sent her about her way. And that cow did a lot of really, 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 really good things for us in a short period of time. And I will never try and, take credit for, quote unquote, discovering that cow or developing that cow. But I truly believe you either go get them on the forefront or you go get them on the back end and you try and execute as well as you can. But going and finding them 3 to 7 year old cows, if it's either going to be really, really expensive or they aren't good enough, and that's why they're for sale.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that
And,
one ended up being a really good asset to your program that you were able to build off of.
she did. Yeah, she's got a huge influence in this sale. The There's a very small handful of pregnancies in cows right now, and then there is no more Bailey cow. The last outsider daughter's in this sale, and so your question as far as is that influence from there, man, it's been really cool to see the stages of our cow herd and what's come and what's gone. And uh, Angie reminded me the other day there's a heifer in this sale that's out of a cow, Stella's, and the cow sent one to the backdrop on a national level multiple times now. And I said, I think it may be time to go ahead and flush her. And she said, yeah, well, please do it this time as a 6-year-old cow instead of a 15-year-old cow. And I said, yeah, I probably need to break that cycle. So,
There's some wisdom there.
oh, she's a smart one. But Angie and I got married while we were in Midlothian in 2017. We had our daughter in 2019, Stella, and we moved back to Caldwell in 21. We had some growing pains and transitioning pains, as everybody does when you move an entire operation 200 miles south. But boy, I will tell you, I feel as comfortable and confident as I've ever felt actually representing a set of cattle since we left Midlothian as I do this set. They are the reflection of what has stood the test of time the last 10 years in our program.
Absolutely. Well, I'm extremely ready to dive into them real quick. First and foremost, I mean, you have, through all that process and all this learning and growth of your operation, you've come to be the one who puts those embryos in, does the AI, does all the hands-on work. I mean, this is all a product of a lot of your hard work and sweat equity. And that a lot of that I know in previous discussion came to be out of necessity. Instead of having third-party stuff going on, that something happened or you were dependent on at that time, you ended up saying, hey, I'm going to take this upon myself to learn how to do this stuff around the ranch myself. And man, you've gotten really good at it too. So a lot of this stuff is hands-on product, and you stand behind it in that capacity too. Talking about that confidence and comfort to stand behind these cattle. You've bred them, you've raised them, you've done everything with them in a lot of capacities, and so I think that's really neat. And as far as y'all's operation goes, when you go out there, you do a lot of intensive. I think you touched pretty lightly on that embryo work. Y'all are pretty heavy on that in terms of really advancing the genetics through the ET work that you do.
I would tell you we are probably 75% ET based now. As far as what you're touching on there, services wise, when we started this deal, I guess I've been AI in cows about 14 years now. We had a bad run of open cows on an AI deal, and Dad said, well, I'm not paying a guy for open cows. And he said, if you want AI cows, you go learn to AI cows. So I did, and I'll tell you, AI in cows is just repetition. Getting in as many cows as you can, isolating your fertile cows, cows that calve first, the cows that breed on one unit, not 2 or 3 times. And we've kept fertility at the forefront. Uh, you know, uh, Fertility and feet are the 2 most important things that I want to bring to the table as a program, because if they can't sustain and live a long life, and if they can't put calves on the ground every year, you are not going to make money. I don't care how much EPD profile they got or how many pounds they can gain. You got to put feet on the ground. Learned AI. Speaking of feet, we started having these sales. I saw it important from a a service side to make sure these cattle got their feet trimmed properly. And when we were up there in Midlothian, we were about 15 miles from Bobby Maddox, and they're, at the Grady's, and Bobby's kind of the goat and the legend. And I traded preg checking, like, helping them kind of organize their cow
Yeah.
herd. And in return, he had helped me trim feet because a good friend of ours, Jared Hobbs, was helping them run, or working for him at the time. So I went from not knowing how to breed cows to breeding cows out of necessity to always looking for a hoof trimmer to, the table I got sat in Bobby Maddox's backyard, and learned to trim feet. And, obviously we had to learn to clip just from a service side of presentation and stuff. And
Sure.
I don't know, I guess probably after about 2,000 or 3,000 cows of AI, I got tired of either bringing an embryologist in or, trucking cattle 2 hours south to an embryologist. I went up to REI, learned to put embryos in. And gosh, I think for the first year, I didn't tell a soul I was putting embryos in because I was scared to figure out our conception, how bad it was going to be. And it actually turned out better than what I thought it would. Now, once again, we had very fertile recips. We had very good embryos. That probably helped set me up to be successful in that regard. Yes, exactly. Yep. So, from a service standpoint, these cattle here, we're a one-stop shop. I can't do your dehorns. I never cared to get into dehorning, but if there's ever anything that needs to be dehorned, I got guys that do a really good job, and they'll be dehorned before they ever leave. But I can breed your cow, I can sell your cow, I can trim feet on your cow, I can clip your cow. I want to be the guy that helps build your program, because if you're successful, I'm successful.
100%. 100%. Well, hey, dive off into this deal. Starting,
Cool.
wherever you really want to start if you want, but you're going in catalog order anyway, so might as well start with lot one.
Yeah.
Black-hided animal on there, which is, kind of out of the ordinary for the last 5 years or so of what y'all have been doing potentially in terms of the purebred Charolais deal. But as we were talking before we hit record, it's kind of neat to kind of see you dapple back into that realm of some bred type show cattle.
Yep. So I actually grew up showing Brangus cattle and steers. This lot one heifer I thought was a pretty unique place to start. Definitely something that I kind of throw people for a loop, because when you open our cattle sale, you always plan to see a white one, and then here we are with a really good fall, cow prospect, potential show heifer. But
and she's lot one.
She is lot one, and she is good. This heifer's mom is the very first calf out of a cow that everybody that's been around our deal would know as the fuzzy cow. Angie called her fuzzy because we literally had to shear her head so she could see where she was going in the winter. This heifer's mom is a Bolicious out of a junior Ali Heatwave cow. Bolicious was actually a hoodoo bred, like a hoodoo who made who deal that Tony Austin had. Her mother would have been Reserve Supreme, or was Reserve Supreme female at Tarrant County in 2015. We actually two-holed that county fair that year. We had Grand Dam Reserve. She was the Reserve female. Her granddam is I guess her great granddam, that Ali Heatwave cow, is Casey Horn, which is Brandon Horn's brother's 845 donor. That cow raised multiple champions there at OIE. Really, really good female. If you've ever wanted to raise American Club calves, that one needs to be on your watch list.
Nice.
Lot 2 is going to be the Outsider Bailey. That is the last Outsider Bailey to ever exist. That female there, she's dense, she's good, she is puppy dog gentle. I'm talking about, like, let your 3-year-old show that thing in Pee Wee showmanship gentle. She's dog gentle. That Outsider Bailey mating has been exceptionally good for us. You'll see there's a bull down in the semen offering. They call him he ain't no saint. He's a Saint Christopher out of a flush mate to this heifer. The Valentina donor that raised our lot one last year would be a full sister. There's been 4 or 5 of those outsider Baileys, and every single one of them has either raised a high seller or a national contender or been a national contender themselves. And this one, I see this one doing great things.
It's really nice.
Really good. I mean, very, very powerful, big ended kind of a female. She could raise purebred show heifers, purebred herd bulls, crossbred steers.
Yeah, really embodies that complete Charolais attribute for sure.
She does everything we built a program to do. Moving to lot 3, sometimes life throws you a curve, and you got either swing or let it go past you. Lot 3, that tag 17 female, her mother's probably one of our best eared recip cows. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. Her mom come out of the sale barn there in Cameron. Actually, Kenny Mingus, just one of his weekly sales. Really big footed, stout, kind of river bottom type Brangus cow.
Yeah.
She was supposed to have a fall embryo that year. I guess she lost it somewhere that summer. And we run them herd bulls out with bred cows when we're not using them, just so they aren't sitting around the house bored. And that female is the result of rock candy breeding, I guess what we thought was a bred recip. Dude, that thing's just real world commercial crossbred female. A lot of the county fairs around here have a commercial halter heifer division. And
she fit the bill for that.
I think she's, oh yes. And once again, puppy dog gentle. That thing is so gentle, so good. Lot 4. This episode's probably about to get real long, but I'll condense this as much as I can. Lot 4 is 5 generations of our program. Her great-great-grandmother, and if you go to the sale, there's a link that says additional photos, additional pics, and you can go through and you can see essentially that entire lineage without seeing the sire side. So I showed her great-great-grandmother. Her great-granddam is the cow being offered to flush in lot 22. Her grandmother was honestly the result of a random Nebraska trip for our buddy Christopher Dalton and I. I had bought some 0419 daughters from Jamie Fred up there in Nebraska, and I really liked that bull. He was kind of fast track bred, like kind of harder muscle, denser body type bull. And I remember calling Jamie and I said, "Hey, do you got any semen on that bull?" He said, "No, I don't know. He's just a herd bull." And I said, "What do you mean just a herd bull?" And he said, I've never collected him. He's like a 7-year-old. He's out in the sandhills. And I said, "Jamie, go get that bull and collect him." He said, "No, he ain't worth it." And I said, "Jamie, I will pay for the entire collection so I can get 50 units. And if you knew Jamie Fred, he was an opportunist and a crazy old man that I loved like a grandpa. He really did a lot of good things for us, and his cow herd did a lot of good things for the breed. But he said, "Fine, I'll get Kay to go get him. We'll get him collected." And I did. I sent him an $1,100 check for my 50 units of semen. And
I love it.
And the craziest part about like this whole lineage is it's all natural daughters except for this heifer's mom. She's the result of an ET. But that Aphrodite cow, she's only ever been flushed one time. I I truly believe in letting a cow prove herself and then flushing her. And I just spent way more time flushing her mom instead of her. But that 0419 bull was just such a maternal like monster in terms of making those things that milked good, and they were dense and they were low to the ground and bold bodied, and just, I mean, one of those bulls that Jamie was right. He was just a herd bull, but he was a good herd bull. And so I bred Aphrodite to that bull, kind of on a whim. This heifer's grandma's a May. I really thought about keeping her. We had that was kind of right there coming out of the bad drought. We decided to do a December sale. Mitch Rohr, they have that Bailey daughter and that outsider Bailey. That's the mother to the Hans bull. And he called me and he goes, "Hey, I want a piece of the chick cow." And I said, "Well, good luck ever buying a chick daughter, you know." And he laughed and he goes, "Well, what about a chick granddaughter?" Because he had seen that sale. He said, "That Aphrodite daughter I think will work." And I said, "Well," and I did. And I told him, I said, "Hey, I don't know if that one's wolfy enough for y'all. Like, she's just a little May heifer. Probably not the stoutest, biggest deal, but she'll make a nice cow." They buy her for like $3,200, Kyle. She winds up winning the summer division at the Nile, Denver, Kansas City, Kansas State Fair, Fort Worth, in her very first ET calf crop. Like they calved her out as a bred, and then they flushed her that Bohannon bull. And in that very first in her very first flush, she makes like 17 embryos. They stick in 6. They get 5 to take. Wow. They get three heifers and 2 bulls. The 2 bulls get sold to Mexico. The 3 heifers stay there. They showed what they thought was like the best like combination female. And that would be the Rachel cow that is champion Charolais female at Kansas State Fair last year. And then they kept 2 back as cows. This heifer, lot 4, tag 44, is the very first calf raised out of a first calf heifer for Lazy H Ranch out of that St. Christopher bull. And when I tell you she's good, like our buddy Christopher Dalton, he's like, that St. Christopher bull's done a lot of good things, but that bull doesn't necessarily make them the framiest or the growthiest or the biggest bone. And Toph's got a St. Christopher daughter, and it's one of them deals like they're just not quite punchy enough for him. And he gets down to Caldwell a couple weeks ago, and he sees that thing. He calls McGuire, and he's like, "God, I hate you. I said I wouldn't ever own another one, and now you've done made one big boned and growthy and powerful." And that's just the first calf out of these things, you know?
Yeah. And here she
is. And craziest part is she had been in Caldwell 8 days before we pictured. She's had four baths in her entire life. We clip her on the wash rack. I mean, just if you're into cattle that pay your bills and cattle that have a story and cattle that will be here for 4 or 5 more generations, lot 4 is like, if lot 4 doesn't get your motor running, I don't know if we're the program for you. You know, like that one is good. That one is incredible. She's green. She's still skinny. I mean, she's coming off traveling stress. She went from like 50-degree mornings to 105-degree days, and she's never backed down. She's never slowed down. Like that one is as good a beef cattle as a guy would want to make. And the best part is she's 4 generations removed from firewater. She is outsider free. She has hardly any LT, no debrucker. Like that thing is as outcrossed as a show heifer can be to make a cow.
Wow.
It's really neat. That thing's kind of a unicorn.
And that's the second one with a registration number, purebred Charolais there.
Correct.
In the sale.
Yep.
In terms of that lot order. So
that is
I'm sure they can find more information about that.
Yes.
That line there as well if you were to look her up too. So
yep. Look
her up on both ends.
Lazy H Lorraine.
Love it.
Lot 5 is a little show steer. He's a 3/4 blood Charolais. He can be registered Charolais for Charolais Junior Nationals if somebody wanted to go that route. He's a rock candy, which is Cavanese bull of ours that Christopher Dalton raised out of a female we actually raised. Um, his mother is a first calf Who's Who heifer, which was a Hoodoo Smart Chick, out of the Lot 1 heifer's mom.
Okay.
And that calf's been shown twice. Has been reserved Charolais steer at those jackpot shows twice. Probably work really good for like a late fall or a fall show. He's got a shot to grow. He's big haired, real good disposition. Just a real nice calf. Lot 6, if you ever want to dive into what my program is going to, she's the first foreigner daughter in this particular sale. She's a flush mate to our high seller in last year's sale. Her flush mate, actually, I'm headed down here to Fort Bend County to watch one of her flush mates that was named Supreme Female in the Open Show this week. Another flush mate that we sold to another family last year wins her class at the Fort Worth National ROE show in February this year. That foreigner bull is kind of an outcross. We reserved Denver. He was reserved national champion bull in Denver for us. Those things are exceptionally sound. They're exceptionally easy feeding. Just really good cattle. That heifer's female is Mark Johnson's JoJo cow, which is a Firewater daughter. That may be the highest dollar generating Charolais cow to ever walk. I mean, that's probably $1 million Charolais cow. That cow won every major she went to. I think Mark Johnson's kids put like 2 or 3 offspring in the top 5 at Charolais Junior Nationals one year in Iowa. Program wise, pound for pound, that is probably as decorated creature in this sale as I can present. Like, that thing is big time. We got 2 flush mates that we're hoping to get into production this coming year. I mean, we spent $29,000 just to flush her mom, and you know how tight I am when it comes to pinching pennies. So if I think it's worth $30,000 to flush her mom, you better best believe I believe in those things.
You're swinging on that.
I'm telling you, and they are going to be good. The foreigner daughters this year was the first ones that went into production for us, and dude, milking and udder is just phenomenal. Like, I bought that bull because he was so dense from a skeletal standpoint, like pin width and chest width, and his feet were so good. We showed that bull as a 3-year-old. He only had his feet trimmed 2 times in his entire life ever. Like that bull's incredible. I truly think Lot 6. Lot 6 is going to be a fun one to watch down the road. She's really good, really good.
And Lot 7 is super flashy looking female right there as well. Tell us a little bit about her.
If you're into power and decorated pedigrees, that one's up there. She is horned. She's been dehorned. But that thing is so bold and so robust. It's awesome. Her mom's actually a new cow to us. We own her mom. She come out of Oklahoma from Brian McKay. We kind of acquired that deal through some horse trading, and that cow weighs like 18 and a quarter. That cow has raised our top selling bulls the last couple of years. This is our first daughter to offer out of that cow, and she's sired by Brightside, which is Braden House's outsider son. And if you followed those cattle, they are moderate, they are hairy, they are very bold, very sound. Like, I mean, that one's going to be really fun for somebody. Really fun for somebody.
Absolutely.
Lot 8 is, I bought Lot 8's grandmother the same week I bought Lot 1's grandmother. His mom was our high selling crossbred female in 2016. His mom is a half blood Charolais, half blood Char, quarter Maine, quarter Angus cow. He's sired by the Man Amongst Boys, which is a Monopoly son, and yeah, that Smith family down there around Beaumont brought that pair up to breed again because we still do all the breeding for those guys. And I was like, "What is this?" And Jana was like, "He's cute, right?" And I was like, "How about you just leave that pair here?" She's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I got a spot for that thing in October." She's like, "Do you think he's really that good?" And Kyle, I'm going on record to show steers now at a competitive level at the majors. They have got to be close to coming 2-year-olds in that exotic deal, so you can feed them. You can feed them slow enough and long enough that they stay fresh and trim, and they stay
Yeah.
sound, and they get big bodied and big boned. Dude, this is bold to say, but I'm telling you, that little guy there, if somebody will buy that thing, and I don't know if he needs to be showed at a Fall County Fair next year or Fort Worth the following year or Dallas 2 years from now. Like, that is a calf a kid can buy, and he can jackpot him until he's ready to send him to a market show.
Yeah.
He's so
For
cool.
sure.
So cool. So good. He weighs 500 pounds. Like, that thing can jackpot for a long, long, long time. But he's going to get big enough to be ultra competitive when you want to be competitive. Lot 9, tag 39. That is a bright side out of Stella's Janine cow. Janine is a game changer, smart chick. If you read those footnotes, that cow, that's actually the cow I was talking about that Angie told me, if you're going to flush her, you better do it. That cow's PA free, which PA is a genetic deal in the Charolais breed that was discovered here recently. But in short, that is a PA free 3/4 sister to the current national champion bull super puncher. She is
Wow.
her mother's first calf wins her class at state show and junior nationals. Her second calf is reserve supreme exotic female at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Her third female was reserved supreme bred and owned female for Camille Asmus. That's a partnership cow. And this is her fourth calf. She's a bright side. Those bright sides they're bolder bodied, like east to west rib cage separation. They're softer flank. The cool part is that third calf that was reserved supreme bred and owned. She was second as a big bred at junior nationals this year in Texas. Her sire, which we called her Jen, so Jen's sire and old Karma's sire are 7/8 brothers. I'm pretty positive. So I'm pretty positive this is a 15/16 sibling to the reserve supreme bred and owned female last year at state show. And
Nice.
so, like,
Well, and you can see that bright side in it too, just comparatively speaking to the
correct
other
to the other matings. Like,
half sister
yes,
or half mate.
she is so bold in her forerib and her center body. These cattle are in no like particular quality order. It's just honestly how they kind of lined up as we pictured and stuff.
Yeah.
Lot 9 holds a very special place to us. She's good. She's very, 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 very good. I hope that one goes to a very good home. I love going to the backdrop with those cattle. Like, she is so proud of
Absolutely.
herself. She is so just when you get the picture or the videos, you'll probably see like she's probably the most curious one. I don't know if that video how like commanding it is because all day in the picture pen she just wanted to kind of be like with us, you know. But
She said, "I'm here." Yeah.
she's here and she's good. God, she's good. Lot 10 is a very interesting creature. She is a fall heifer that came to us from that Royal Bee program. They also raised that Lot 6, the Foreigner JoJo. They partnered with us on that flush. Lot 10 is a Waymaker, which is a Brandon Horn bull out of a different flush mate to Lot 2. And that thing, she's been tied up 3 times in her life. We literally washed her all 3 times. We clipped her tied to the fence. She's not show broke, but if somebody wanted to break a yearling heifer, I think it could be done. But I'm telling you, that thing is the epitome of club calf cows. I mean, she is that cow is going to generate so much money for a guy wanting to raise show steers and crossbred heifers. It's absolutely just insane that Casey even wants to sell that one. But all these guys have bought in that we can't build a program without letting the good stuff out, you know?
Right.
Her mom, that Catch Me Outside cow, was the high seller in our live sale in 2020, which was the Quest for Success sale we did on CCI.
Yeah, I remember that.
She did a lot of winning that year. She won their county fair. Was ultra competitive all throughout the majors. She got at least a piece of the division all year, Kenzie's senior year. So, a lot of power in that pedigree. Lot 11 may be the more intriguing creature in there. She is a true total outcross. She's actually a Q number, which is a red factor influence female. That is the softest haired, softest bodied, just unique little show heifer in this sale. If you are into outcross things or outlandish things as far as what a guy can do with different creatures, Lot 11 is for you. That thing is destined to win a lot of cow shows. She's destined to make really unique creatures. You literally can breed that thing to any Charolais bull in any semen catalog, and there is no relation to that female.
Wow.
She's awesome.
That's a big deal.
She's
yeah.
awfully good. Awfully good. Her mom was the first show heifer that Mackenzie Snyder with Royal Bee would have bought from us, her and her brother-in-law Casey Easel. And that was very first female. They bought her sight unseen on a private treaty deal. She come off that Auden Ranch in South Dakota. And, I mean, that thing was supreme female at the first jackpot show they took her to. It was like a 180 head show judged by Ryan Rash. I mean, really trendy kind of female. A lot of grow in that pedigree, but a lot of good in that pedigree. Lot 12 is very interesting. She's another bright side out of a cigar smart chick. Her mother is the Avanti donor. That cow has raised a lot of high selling stuff for us. She was our lot 1 in 2019. That Asmus family bought her to be Camille's senior year project, and that was the year of COVID, so we didn't get to find out how that worked out. But her mother was reserve supreme female at the Whataburger Cow Show, which was a 250 head Charolais state show that November of COVID.
Wow.
She was reserve supreme
Everybody
female.
was itching to get back out into it.
Yes, exactly. Cow's got a good production record. The cool part is this is the calf that was inside that cow at Louisville last November. And yes, you heard me right. Cow at Louisville. Her mother, as a 5-year-old cow, was reserve national champion cow-calf pair.
Wow.
Look in the additional photos. That cow is as sexy and tricked out and good built Charolais cow as I may ever get to raise. And to do it in that pedigree, in that uniqueness of bringing back a bull from 1995 and being able to show that thing in 2023, it just shows the longevity and the consistency of the cow herd we've tried to build.
For sure.
Lot 13, Raised by our good buddy Christopher Dalton out of Finger Guns. Finger Guns is a maternal brother to Rock Candy. That's Toph's, I guess, newest Charolais bull that we actually sold him to a big commercial operation down south, but we had semen. That heifer's maternal sister, actually 3/4 blood sister, so a Rock Candy, which is a maternal brother to Finger Guns, a Rock Candy out of this heifer's mom resulted in the Division II champion female at the 2022 Charolais Junior Nationals in Nebraska in the composite show. So
that and also I'm noticing here too, y'all reserving the right to 2 flushes
on every live lot,
all female lots.
Yep, all female lots. I'll touch base here in a second on that.
Yeah.
Lot 14 is a St. Christopher Rhinestone Bailey. Tove's nephew actually bought the full sister to this one last year. She won her class at Tri-State Fair a couple weeks ago for him. Really powerful, really moderate, super easy feeding. That thing makes a really nice cow. Lot 15 is a Casey design out of that Catch Me Outside cow, so be a maternal sister to lot 10. Younger heifer. That's a real old maternal bull on the top side. Maybe not the flashiest, stoutest built creature, but I think as a cow, that one's going to be really important for somebody down the road. Before we talk about those genetics, yes, so we reserve the right to 2 flushes in every live female lot we sell these days, regardless of private treaty, public auction, online auction, it does not matter. If it has a set of ovaries and Doonan Cattle Company sells it, we reserve the right to flush it. I want to make.
I mean, you believe in the program.
I believe in the program, but what I want to make clear is, in 14 years of selling show heifers and cows, we have flushed 3 females. And I do not believe that to be because they weren't good enough. I believe that to be because we still have their mothers and their sisters. And I don't want to impose on somebody's investment and go flush that thing and put in embryos out of their cow into my cows and then sell those things for 100% of the profit. I would rather you do what the Rohr family has done, or the Smith family, or them guys. I want you to buy a calf. I want you to buy a calf and build a relationship with us, and I want to help you grow because you're helping me establish the quality, the consistency, and the longevity of my genetics.
Yep.
If I want to flush them, I'm probably going to keep them as a donor replacement. If you notice, there's a lot of smart chick influence. If you come look at our cow herd, I think there's now 10 smart chick daughters in our cow herd, and we're retaining another smart chick daughter this year. We sell smart chicks every other year. That Rohr family actually bought a smart chick daughter off our sale last year. She was reserve division at junior or at Kansas State Fair last month, and she wins her class at Fort Worth National ROE Show. And we are very, very hopeful that thing's going to make a big splash this winter. We reserve the right to flush those things as an insurance policy to give us access back to our genetics if something catastrophic was to happen.
Right.
Yep.
And that's two successful flushes, and
that is 2 successful flushes. That is it. We've actually gone back and bought more of those cattle back than we ever have actually gone and flushed them. Yeah, and just kind of depending on where people are in their program, or I like doing very different things pedigree wise. So sometimes agreeing to flush a certain way, multi-party, that's just differences of opinions or differences of objectives. And And so, I mean, just to clarify that, yes, we reserve the right 2 successful flushes and everything, but that does not mean we're going to come back and do it.
And then delivery methods, as far as it looks like, obviously you can assist with trucking arrangements,
Oh,
but I mean, y'all
absolutely.
got
Yep.
contacts and connections all over the place, people heading different directions all
Yep.
the time. So you can just get with
Yeah.
you or.
Yep. We got 3 different truckers that we truly believe in that do a great job. I also forgot to mention lot 2, tag 33, lot 5, lot 6, tag 22, lot 7, tag 18, lot 9, tag 39. All 4 of those females are entered in the open show at the American Royal in Kansas City. We leave
Yep.
for the American Royal on October 22nd. We are fortunate we have friends all up there in that area. If somebody up north buys a heifer, there is no problem with us, arranging delivery and making that happen in the month of October.
Perfect.
We've sent cattle as far east as Tennessee. We've sent cattle as far west as Utah and to Canada and Mexico. Really, really neat, Kyle, to see kind of how this deal has grown and the network we've built.
Absolutely.
Very fortunate and very proud of what this little set of cows has been able to provide for us and our customers.
Yeah. We'll talk about some of those genetics on the bottom of that cell there.
The genetic side of things, we are not big into offering genetics. We do one online sale a year. Our bulls are all publicly available at any time, but there's some people they like buying out of these sales. A lot of times, genetic wise on semen and stuff, we can offer that at a discounted rate, just giving people the opportunity to try it. Sometimes either people like seeing calves out of a bull before they use him, or sometimes, $50 a unit or $100 a unit may be too much. So, hey, let's try him for $25. It's funny. Sometimes we've had bulls bring more than what they're on the open market for, and sometimes we sell it at half cost type deal. But it gives people the opportunity to see what we have. Also gives them the opportunity to use what we have. Just another marketing avenue. That foreigner bull, he was reserve national champion there at Denver. He was champion bull at Black Hills the year we bought him from Thomas Ranch in South Dakota. He's a double vision, which is a Canadian sire out of Montello, which is a Montezuma, Wyoming win. Montezuma is a Freedom Son out of Canada. I think a 2004 model bull. We actually have Montezumas out of Smart Chick on the ground right now, fallborns. We're doing a lot of really different things genetically, trying to kind of go backwards in time to get these Charolais to where we keep enough size and bone and like productivity in these cattle.
Yeah.
Not that these new genetics aren't good enough, but a lot of the beef cattle industry is moderated so much. So I think we need to be really careful that we don't lose our identity of what certain breeds do best. That second bull is going to be that Rock Candy bull, and Rock Candy is 100% our go-to Cavanese bull. I'd probably feel comfortable breeding first calf mini Herefords to that bull. I mean, them calves they come out looking like rats. I've had guys use that bull and they called me and they're like, hey, this thing's not very good. And I'm like, great, I'll buy it. They're like, what? And I say, give it 90 days. And then when they go to wean, I'll call them back, hey, you ready to sell that Rock Candy? And they're like, I think we're going to put it in our sale, or I think our kid's going to show it. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm glad to know it worked out.
Get some contracting going on.
Yeah, no, that bull's, and I'll tell you, we misutilized that bull for so long, and I don't mean this wrong, but the best Rock Candies we've had are actually this current year, because we went and we turned that bull out on just nice commercial type, production type cows, and like we got some uglier, production oriented, like kind of bigger headed, chunkier type Charolais cows that we raise herd bulls out of, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and man, them rock candy calves are really really good. That bull makes them longer, stretchier, sounder, prettier. He's not going to add body, but they're calving ease and they're really good.
Nice.
Lot Lot 2021. He ain't no saint. He's a Saint Christopher he is a Saint Christopher out of an outsider Bailey. And that bull is the first calf out of the Roars outsider Bailey. And he's a twin. That bull is a twin out of a first calf heifer, and
Huh.
he reserves the national ROE show at Fort Worth. When I tell you that bull is good, that bull is very, very, very good. We bred some of our best cows, and we bred first calf heifers to that bull. The Roars are really, really excited about that bull. He wins the senior division at Kansas State Fair last month, and that's him coming off cows. I mean, I wouldn't say he was show ready, but he handled cows exceptionally well. If you look at those supporting or the additional pictures, you'll see his Denver backdrop, you'll see his Fort Worth backdrop, and you will see a cell phone picture from this summer of that bull. And I'm telling you, if I can
Wow.
go,
Yeah, I'm looking at it
if
right
I
now.
can go on a national stage on our online sale and put a cell phone picture up of that thing and be confident. Actually, I'll go ahead and tell the world now. So there's a bull called Big Game Hunter. We own his mom with Kevin Benish, who he bought her out of our sale in 2018. She reserves Kansas City for Benish. She's very prestigious kind of donor up and coming. That cow is currently AI bred to He Ain't No Saint.
Huh.
So when I tell you we believe in using that bull,
Yeah, you're putting him to work.
there you
Yeah.
have it. One of our most outcrossed, you know, out there kind of cow that raised probably one of the most, splash-tastic Charolais bulls to hit the breed in a long time for Braden House and those guys selling high dollar semen and winning cow shows. That bull's first calf at Doonan Cattle Company will be out of that cow.
Nice. And then to round it off, lot 22.
Lot 22, I've done lost my mind, but
What a special opportunity right here.
it may be the only opportunity. That cow's getting old. She does a good job.
What a picture, too. I mean,
dude, and that was her as a bred last fall in the drought. And
yeah.
I'm gonna go back and use Turton on some of those chick daughters to recreate, 3/4 sisters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That cow's milk quality is so rich. Her muscle density is so true. Her body shape is just ridiculous. I mean, a good buddy of mine saw her a couple falls ago, and she kind of threw her head up and got excited. And he goes, "God, I had never seen a pregnant snow goose." I said, "What did you just say?" And he said, that thing is just." He said, "You can't build them like that." And I said, "Yeah, I
There's a
know."
lot of good there for sure. Hard to really pick that one apart in any way, shape, or form.
That may go down. Her mother was the best Charolais cow I ever owned. That may go down as the best Charolais I ever raised, and it just happened to be the very first one I ever did.
Love it.
So,
Absolutely love it. What a lineup, Kevin. I mean, y'all worked really hard to get to this point, so it's no surprise that everything's turned out this neat, and I'm glad to see that, and excited to see it through here in 5 days now.
yep.
So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and then once again how to access this sale as well.
So my cell phone number is 979-820-4388, and it's plastered all over that sale. You can shoot me a text. You can call. You can follow us on Facebook at Doonan Cattle Company. That sale is hosted through SC Online Sales. And if you go to their site, hit cattle, scroll down to October 8th, and you'll find our banner for the Doonan Cattle Company Fall Edition sale. Our sales rep, Clint Petzold, has actually seen these cattle in person. I'm sure he's got his own opinions, but Clint's very knowledgeable. I mean, that guy's been behind as many champions of many different facets and breeds as probably any of them sales reps, and does a real good job. Reach out to him. You know, I don't mind giving contact to the guys that own these cows. We got plenty of references. We just really, really fortunate to bring a set of cattle this true, this honest, still this immature. I mean, them cattle are going to get better every single day, and that's how I like to sell those cattle, because the true testament of a program is that those cattle are not the best they will ever be on sale day.
Yep.
So
that's the best part about it. Is, I mean, all the stories of them coming in from 50 degree weather to 100 degree weather and getting acclimated. I mean, once these things start to take off, they're only going to go up from there. So what an exciting opportunity to get in on the ground floor of some of these genetics. And I'll be so anxious to follow along and see where these cattle go. And I know you will as well. Kevin, I really appreciate having you on today, and be safe out there on the road first and foremost. But I know you're going to be busy this week with a lot of phone calls and talking to people about these genetics. But what's kind of the one take home that you would say for your customer base and about this sale and how you feel about everything going into it?
Man, I said it earlier, and the one take home I want everybody to understand when they deal with us: your success is my success. I can't do this by myself. I have not been able to do this by myself. And Mitch Rohr up there at Lazy H Ranch, I mean, that guy, there's days he's like a brother, there's days he's like a father, and he's probably kept me as grounded as any human in this world. And he told me when we first started, because I was very, very, very honest with him, the very first one they ever bought from us, I told him I didn't think was good enough. And later on, once we got to know each other, he goes, hey, the cattle are only as good as the people behind them. And I will tell you, the group of people behind these cattle and the people that I've been fortunate enough to surround myself with, I feel are very, very good people. I feel are very good programs. And we will be there to help you and guide you every step of the way that you want us to be there.
I love it. What an awesome mantra or motto to have while producing the type of genetics that you're pumping out down there. And I do appreciate you coming on the show, Kevin. Really, really appreciate the opportunity to get to talk through these with you. And thanks for all that insight on this really, really, really nice set of cattle coming up here on October 8th.
Hey, I appreciate it, Kyle, and we appreciate everything you do there at Top Cattle Sales, and just providing a network for people to share their product and get it sent nationwide. And keep up the good work, and we really appreciate everything you're doing over there.
Well, that makes me feel good. And to that note, if you'll stick around with me, I'm going to give all our listeners just a quick market roundup, and that is brought to you by the Texas Department of Agriculture and Ag Commissioner Sid Miller to provide you with a little bit of a pulse on the market for this week, and this will be for October 2nd.
Well, howdy, neighbors. Texas feeder cattle logs reported prices steady to $5 lower. Cattle futures were mixed. October live cattle futures up a couple of cents to close at $183.77. October feeder cattle futures down 87 cents, closed at $246.20. October cotton futures are up, closed at $73.56. December wheat futures up 7 pennies, closed at $5.84 bushel. December corn also up 7 cents, closing at $4.25. And November soybean futures down 9 cents, closed at $10.57 a bushel. October soybean meal futures up 60 cents, closed at $344.30 per ton. September Class V milk futures up a penny to close at $23.31 a hundred. November crude oil futures up a dime, closing at $68.28 a barrel. The Dow Jones up 17 points, closed at 42,330. And that's Market Roundup from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I'm your commissioner, Sid Miller. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters. So.
And that was your market roundup for October 2nd, brought to you by the Texas Department of Agriculture and Ag Commissioner Sid Miller. Kevin, Thanks again. We really do appreciate it. And for those listeners out there tuning in today, if you also have an upcoming sale of any sort, we're happy to have you on the show. Happy to give you the information on any of that ad space on the website. Feel free to call me. My cell phone number is on the site. You can also reach me at Kyle@topcattlesales.com. And without further ado, God bless. Keep on ranching. And we do appreciate you tuning in here at the Top Cattle Sales Podcast. That's www.topcattlesales.com.